Yello, this is MDR. I had seen Top Gun 5 days into its release, and it's almost been a month now, so I am quite late to the party. Everybody's made videos on this, everybody's done their fair share of work on this, given their thoughts on how awesome the film is and all this stuff. I just want to talk about the more simpler aspect of Top Gun Maverick. If you have seen it, even if you haven't seen it, it doesn't matter. Because what I'm going to talk about in this podcast today is something different. I just want to take a simpler look at not the film, but the film's impact and why is it working so well. I mean, I'm no businessman as of right now, clearly. And Tom Cruise is clearly a really great one. But I just want to give my 2 cents, well, not really 2 cents, I think maybe 4, on why I think that the film has worked so well and why Tom Cruise almost never fails to deliver. So, without any further ado, let's just get into it. Sit back, relax, grab something to drink or I don't know what. Let's just have a listen and yeah, let's have fun. Comment down your thoughts in the comments. I always look at them and I try to reply to them all the time, but I feel like if I reply to every single comment, it's gonna be weird. So yeah, but just comment down your thoughts. I'll see to it and definitely gonna like it because that's how I let you know that I've seen your comment. Alright man, let's get into this. So I had seen the film 5 days into its release. I think it was on probably 30 May or 31st May, something like that. And wow, I didn't think the crowd was gonna turn up as much as it did. I knew that the film had done well in overseas everywhere, but I didn't think that the crowd was gonna be that insane as it was. Well, the whole show was booked and you know, I had the topmost seat, I had the recliner there. And you could just see like Tom Cruise's fan base going from right where there was a middle-aged couple with their little child. Right next to them was me, and I was, I'm a youthful guy, I guess you can say. That's my age. And right next to me was this Brazilian guy. I don't know where he had come from, and he was just a big fan of Tom Cruise. And right next to them was this really old couple, who had probably seen the Top Gun film when it had originally come out. So that was really, really cute. I didn't get to ask them that, but I would like to assume that that's the case. And whoa, man, it was the IMAX screen, so everything just looked more insane than it would have already. And might I just say, Tom Cruise, there's just something about the guy. He is seriously the biggest star on a global scale when it comes to films, because just look at the numbers for Top Gun. I mean, I thought that it would be a hit, but I didn't think that was going to be such a big hit, that in such a short amount of time it would do such great business. So, I absolutely love that. Now, the purpose of this podcast, like I said, is going to be a much more simpler perspective of the film. So let's just think about that for a second. Top Gun Maverick, the sequel, I think came out after 36 years. I mean, people forget films now in 36 days. 36 years, and look at how well it has done. And it's not like it's not a connected sequel, it's a direct sequel to that film. It's just absolutely everything is connected to the previous one. There are little sequences of flashbacks, but majorly the film, if you haven't seen the first one, you're not going to really enjoy this as well. So I think a lot of people must have seen the first before. And if they hadn't, maybe they did not enjoy the film as much as, say, another guy who had seen the original would have. I mean, this film is basically just a retelling of the original Top Gun in a strangely nostalgic but new way. And literally, it's the first Top Gun film, but it's been retold with Goose's son in perspective now this time. And it was quite nice. The film does get emotional in parts, and I like it for that reason. And what this film has done really well for, one of the reasons why, is the fact that people are saying that this is a real film, that they did all this for real. Yes, they did do all that for real, at least most of it. And that's just ballsy. That's Tom Cruise for you. That's why, as Graham Norton put it, he gets paid the big bucks because he's ready to dare it all. He just does it, man. And nobody else who would be in such a position that he is, he doesn't need to do this. That's what you need to realize. Tom Cruise has no obligation to go out there, learn how to fly a F-16 fighter jet or something, and he doesn't need to do that. He's got enough money. Even if he wanted, he could just sit in a studio on a chair and still deliver a hit film. But he does all this. Even for a flop film like The Mummy, he, I think had 64 free falls in an actual airplane to record this sequence that he did. And that film flopped hard, but that's just his dedication. That's what Tom Cruise is about. I think that this stardom comes not from just the fact that, he's got such a cool name and that he is a very cool personality, or a very controversial one as well at some times, which he clearly is. But I think much of the stardom now comes from, when people watch films that are from Marvel or DC, they like it. Or all the other VFX kind of films, you can say, that are coming out with the fake blasts and stuff like Dune and stuff. They like that. That's all right. But when there's only one guy, this is the thing about Tom Cruise, then there's only one guy who's like, you know what, I'm gonna avoid all that and I'm gonna try to make it as real as I can. I'm gonna hang off a flying plane. I'm gonna do crazier stuff. I'm gonna free fall an actual airplane. I'm gonna jump off from a helicopter into Paris. All this stuff, that people are just like, whoa, man, this is not much like a film, but like actual, just documentation of, events. It's like a whole different genre where he's doing all the stunts on his own, and those stunts are not faked at all. Like, he does them for real, and he takes the rest of the cast as well and forces them to do that in a good way and challenge themselves, even risking his own life numerous times. I mean, I think in Rogue Nation, was it, that he held his breath for 6.5 minutes or something, which I saw on Graham Norton's show, which airs in UK, United Kingdom. And it's just insanity. I don't know what else to say about that. That's why I think, that's the major reason for why even Top Gun Maverick did so well. I remember seeing James Corden's promotion thing they did, which was really cool, where Tom Cruise took him on a flight with him, just having fun around. It was so cool. It was amazing to see that, this guy can get into a plane and just fly it up with whoever he wants. That's having all that kind of information, having that, having lungs that can hold breath for 6.5 minutes. I mean, I couldn't hold my breath for 6.5 seconds underwater. So that's the kind of things, he is kind of like his roles. He's just very, out of this world. He's over the top, but for real. This guy is the real deal. I liked Top Gun Maverick as a film. I think it was really interesting. And I knew what was going to happen. I was just quite worried about the character not making it out of the scenario, because they didn't have to make a third one. They don't have to make a third one now. I don't know if they will, but I'm going to make a video on it soon. But even if they do, I don't think they will. I don't know what's going to happen there. But the film has done so well, so they probably might. I don't know. But I think Tom Cruise might pick up something else. But sorry for that. I've got a really bad cold. So this is what I'm trying to say, that I was just worried about that. I knew what the film was going to be like. I knew that it was going to be good going into it, and it was good. And I did love the film for what it was. I didn't ask for anything more or less from it. It's a very simple film, very predictable in parts, but you know what? It's okay, because films like those need to exist. Now, here's my point that I wanted to say about this resurgence of heroes. I think Rob Ager a few years ago I know I quote Rob Ager left, right, and center, but I can't help it because he's such a genius. So he had made a video on how there's powerlessness in today's characters, that strong characters are disappearing. Strong men are disappearing from films. Strong women are disappearing from films. And they have been replaced with these bleak, crybaby characters that are just struggling with life so much, and rightfully so in their circumstances. But I think because there's been a pandemic, the economies all over the world are doing so bad. People's lives are not really great at this point. At least in UK. Like there's many places where people are just like, hey man, should I eat or should I have the electricity on? Like that's how bad it's gotten in places. And people are quitting their jobs. They're trying to find out new sources of income. Like there's just this new wave of this transition that's happening from the old world to the new one. Information is readily available, so why should one memorize it? There's questions on the educational system of why memorization is the core of it. Why not talent? Why not skills? Why not upgrade that when we can have information at our tips at any second? We have softwares that can replace accountants. We just need accountants for I don't know what. And I'm not saying accountants are useless, I'm sorry. And I'm saying that there's the whole system of humanity is in a very transitional state, because we have the technology to replace a lot of things, a lot of the jobs that are there, and they are replacing that to a certain extent, but we don't know where to put those people. You don't know where the opportunities might pop up. So in all this, cinema is seeing kind of a resurgence, but a different kind of cinema, the cinema that you would probably watch in 80s. KGF, RRR, all these films are very 80s in nature. You know, the time of Amitabh Bachchan, when he was the angry young man. And, you know, because the social climate at that time, the economical climate at that time was not very well, so people wanted to look up to an image that they could not be. A person who is larger than life, who can take on the system alone. Like, people like to have that thought in their mindset that they can do that as well. Even if it's not realistic, it just helps to cope with the present. And KGF, RRR, Top Gun. Top Gun is literally an 80s film. I mean, Top Gun was released in 1986, was the biggest film of its year. And this is a sequel to that, and it is very much like an 80s film. It is the same film, essentially. Just, you know, it's just done in a way that it feels new, but it still feels old. Tom Cruise is a guy that has never given up that role, you know. He's been doing it since the 80s, that I am larger than life, my roles are larger than life, and he delivers on it. So maybe that's what I feel is the reason for the resurgence of powerful characters, of characters that, you know, can take on the system alone. That's just why I think the film worked as well. And I think more and more films like these will come out soon, and they will be the ones that do well. And the films that show rather struggles and failures will not be doing very well, at least in the coming few years, is what I feel, honestly. That's just my honest thoughts on it. I love Top Gun Maverick because who wouldn't like to see a powerful character, you know? Who wouldn't like to see a man just changing everything, which usually is a man that does everything and then the rest of the people follow. One man is the person that brings the change. Heroism is back, and probably for the good. We need it. It's the most important role right now that is there. And let's see what happens. Let's see what more films do this. I know that in Mission Impossible 7 there's going to be a bit of struggle with Ethan Hunt, like there always is. But is he really going to end the character there? I don't think so. Every film says that, oh, this is the end, this is the end. I don't know, really. Paramount can milk Mission Impossible even if Ethan Hunt is like 80 years old, I don't know. But, you know, this is the new age, which is the old age. Even in music, retrowave is back. 80s. 80s is the culture again. 2020s is the new 80s. Welcome to the new world. Take care, guys. I'll see you soon. And if you like stuff like this, you can listen to more podcasts that I've posted, or you can check out the Popcorn Analysis series that I make where I analyze classic films. It's all good, man. And for my part, just try to feed one animal per day. That's it. Thank you. I'll see you soon.